Did you know that term insurance doesn't have to be a commodity? Hi, I'm Randy Pierson, Vice President of Life and Annuities at Gordon Marketing, and I've got one of our RVPs here, Ray Parman, and today we're going to be talking about term insurance and one of my favorite carriers and why term insurance doesn't have to be a commodity. So stay tuned. All right, Ray, so term sales. We do a lot of term sales at Gordon Marketing, a ton of cases on a weekly, monthly, annual basis. And I'm quite confident that most of the agents out there selling term insurance firmly believe that, hey, it's just price per death benefit, right? So today we're going to be talking about why it doesn't have to be a commodity sale. And we're also going to be talking about one of my favorite carriers, North American. So tell me a little bit about that. What's the concept here? What is the point we're trying to make?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and as you just stated, price wins oftentimes in the term game. And what we're challenging folks to do and encouraging agents to differentiate themselves in the market is perhaps offer a more value feature-rich term product. And that's going to not only help add value to the conversation that they're having with their clients, but that it's also going to set them up for future sales as well.
Yeah, it's funny because, value rich, terms like that are oftentimes not synonymous in the agent's mind with term insurance, right? They think about price and death benefit, and that's pretty much it. As it relates to North American, what are some of the features and benefits of their term insurance products that make them stand out amongst the pack?
Yeah, To use a word called decommoditize, North American brings to the table a couple features that I look for, that I'm attracted to, and I think other people should be as well. And that's one, living benefits. They have a critical illness, a chronic illness, and a terminal illness feature that comes with their term and permanent policies with no extra charge. On top of that, the other critical factor that I look for is a term product that has conversion privileges to any of the permanent products that they might have available at that time. So I think those two elements, the living benefits, then the convertibility options are critical to the value that's brought to the table.
Excellent. So, you mentioned chronic illness. Mm-hmm. And, it seems like almost on a weekly basis, I come across an agent, an advisor out in the field that isn't very familiar with, what chronic illness benefits on a life policy really are. What has to happen to a consumer for them to be eligible to receive benefits under a chronic illness rider?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of equate that to a type of situation somebody would find themselves that requires long-term care. So, something from, extreme Alzheimer's, dementia, to anything that would preclude somebody from being able to perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living are kind of what we're looking for with a chronic illness rider.
Absolutely. So literally, just with a diagnosis from their doctor of something like Alzheimer's would make them eligible for benefits.
Correct. And North American can accelerate up to 90% of the death benefit for that type of claim.
Excellent. And so it's an acceleration of the death benefits. Mm-hmm. And is that benefit received by the consumer taxable or tax-free?
It's tax-free.
Wow,
yep.
Fantastic. So you mentioned something a moment ago, and which is a hot button item for me, and that is conversion. Mm-hmm. So I firmly believe that a lot of advisors and agents out in the field aren't familiar with convertible term, what that means, and how it works. Can you describe that for the agents real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Conversion privileges is basically the opportunity to convert to any permanent whole life product, and in this case, North American specifically, and there's other carriers out there that offer similar options, but any guaranteed UL, any indexed universal life, the whole book is open to somebody to convert into.
Yeah, and most notably, without any underwriting.
Correct.
Right? So the client doesn't have to get stuck with a needle, pee in a bottle, go through the rigmarole of qualifying for that coverage again. That's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Right? That's a huge benefit.
And you as the agent receive full first-year commission on that conversion as well.
So staying on the subject of conversion, when would an agent want to bring up this issue of conversion or convertibility?
Absolutely. I encourage agents 100% of the time to bring it up at the term sale. If you wait a week after that term policy is issued, a year, 6 months, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose that opportunity. You have to establish that dialogue that day that you sell the term policy and set the table, set the expectations that this is going to be an ongoing conversation for either full conversion or even partial conversion too, as that client progresses through their term policy.
Yeah, absolutely. In essence, you're teeing up that future sale. I like to say that for those of us that are in the business, out actively selling, or have been in the business for a while and have an inventory of term sales that they've made in the past, those are future sales waiting to happen, right? I mean, that's a huge missed opportunity for agents that aren't addressing that. And speaking of missed opportunity, what's one of the biggest reasons that an agent might want to do a term conversion?
It's just the commission.
The commission.
Yeah.
It's a new commissionable event, right?
Yes.
I mean, the agent's going to get paid. So last but not least, let's talk a little bit about North American and their term insurance and competitiveness. Where do they typically rank in, that term sale market?
Yeah, so North American is not the price leader often. However, on average, they're about only $4 to $8 a month more expensive than the price leaders in the term insurance game. So again, we're looking at a month. So if somebody can give up one Starbucks coffee, they can have a term product that's going to bring so much more value to their lives and open up so many different opportunities where just beyond the death benefit, this product can be repurposed to critical or chronic illness, as well as future opportunities to convert into permanent life insurance.
And I can't emphasize enough the point that you just made, in that it's not always about price. $2, $3, $4, $8 a month is a drop in the bucket when you're buying an A+ rated carrier, been around forever, has fantastic additional ancillary benefits, right? Pays great compensation, easy to work with, right? So it's, and I can tell you this, certainly because I see the cases come through the door and I talk to the agents, a lot of those carriers out there that are the cheapest in the term space don't have conversion options or don't have products to convert to and are much more difficult to work with.
I agree.
So listen, we've reached the extent of our time today, but I want to thank Ray for participating with us today on this episode of Selling Life and Annuities. I will say, if you're an agent out there and you want to expand your life insurance knowledge and increase your sales and get into markets and sales opportunities that you really hadn't considered or perhaps don't even know about, please reach out to us or any member of our team, and we're here to help. Once again, I'm Randy Pierson saying thanks for watching this episode of Selling Life and Annuities. Click like and subscribe down at the bottom of this video, and we'll see you next Tuesday.